Roll call, please.
David Chanel present.
Lynn Pinkerton present.
Veronica Cal present. All right, thank you. Is there anything, looking at the agenda, is there anything that we should add to this?
No,
Okay,
I actually had I don't want to speak out of turn, but I actually had a kind of an observation based on the engagement letter and the audit results that we've had over the last couple of years. I would go so far as to question the need or the viability of this committee until the contract expires after 2021, because I mean, the majority of our effort has been determined for us already by contract, so we can't get out of it. So I don't even know. I don't even know what we need to do.
so, well, let's talk about that when we get to number 2. So that I agree with you. So we'll talk about this going forward. So first thing, let's approve the minutes.
Wait, there's one thing that you missed. I thought I made a motion that put you in charge of everything, the writing, the chair and everything. Didn't Lynn, didn't you second that, Lynn?
Oh, yeah, I definitely
Oh,
did.
right. I didn't think there was a motion. I'll have to watch the.
Oh, okay. All right.
I thought it was just an agreement, kind of by consensus.
Yeah. It was just a thought, you know.
We can make it formal if you want, but
No, it's not. Let's go to, no. I
okay.
find them fine. I'll make a motion.
But
to
I will
approve the
write
minutes.
them. I will write the minutes. I'll do the agendas. I'll do the postings. You
Yeah,
know.
no, I don't see it anything really being of substance for like I said, but I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes of April 21st as written.
And I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Veronica Cal, aye. So approved. All right. So I'll get those down to Kathy so that she can post. All right. So now I think we're getting into what we're going to talk about the current engagement letter.
Yeah.
We didn't have the FY management letter and financial statement and timeline for the FY21 audit. And I guess so looking at the current engagement letter, they're engaged for FY21 already.
Mhm.
So it's really looking at probably later in the summer, looking at possible auditors for an engagement letter for the
Next year,
following,
yeah.
for FY22 fiscal year. So Lynn, do you have thoughts on that?
well, unfortunately, my system went blank.
It's hard to do Zoom and look at everything else at the same time. So
I don't even know what you asked.
I guess the question, thoughts on the engagement letter, just general thoughts. The engagement letter that's in place right now did fiscal year 19, fiscal year 20, which just was audited, and then fiscal year 21. And so as far as determining an auditor, and I looked through this, I asked town council, can we change it? And I didn't send him this, but I didn't see anything that said we would, the 1 year thing, that this is for 3 years with the 1 year, there's nothing in here that says, oh, and if we want to change it, if we don't want to.
No, it would have to be for cause. And
Right.
I'm not aware of any bad stuff that they've done. So
Yeah, but
I
if
agree.
the contract was done for 3 years, then we can't do anything until then.
The contract would be, the date on this letter, the 3-year letter, is July 22nd, 2019. So they were engaged in July prior to the start of this. So it was for FY19. So we would need to engage someone, I'm thinking the July, August timeframe for the FY, for the next set of audits, the next.
Right.
So our task right now would be looking at who does the audit for FY22. the budget that we're voting on at town meeting on Saturday
Right.
for the upcoming fiscal year. So there is some work to be done to figure out who we're going to engage, because we would be the ones that would be choosing that auditor and putting together the letter with the town employees, you know, the accountant, the treasurer, the financial team at town hall.
And that probably wouldn't be until this time next year. And you could start looking at it, but you wouldn't really sign an engagement letter until towards the end of this fiscal year, which would be probably May or June of 2022. So, because it's going to start for next July 1st, right?
So I'm trying to
Yeah.
get this in my head. So in July of 2019, they set up for fiscal year 2019.
Right.
So in my mind, in July of 2022, which is coming up, we would be setting up for the FY 22 fiscal year.
No, this July 1st is the third year of their 3-year contract. So
But they will be auditing what ends on June 30th.
correct,
coming.
right? Yeah,
Right. So they will do the audit next spring, but their engagement letter started at the beginning of the fiscal year.
yeah.
For,
What I don't know is if they, even though they started it after the fiscal year began in July of 19, did that include the 2019 budget? You know, that ended June 30th of 2019. Did that engagement letter include that work, or was it going?
no,
It did not. Okay.
that would have been for fiscal year 18. So June of 2019, FY 18 would have ended.
Okay. Look at that.
Right.
If I'm thinking, if I have this set in my head, and I have to keep rethinking it and rethinking it.
The part that makes it difficult to get it to look at it from a timeline perspective is that Melanson been doing it for years since the Pope was an altar boy. So we can't say, oh, who was doing it prior. So it'd be a name change. But okay. So it's even longer than then. So we have more than enough time, like a year, to deal with this.
No, we need to have our auditors in place. Well, I guess this coming March, in March of 22, they'll be auditing, it'll be Melanson and Heath auditing fiscal year 21.
And that's their last year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying.
But I think we need to have people in place in the fall. I guess this gets down to the timeline for the FY 21 audit, and it should also be for the FY 22 audit, which I didn't put on the agenda. So the question is, when do we need the next engagement letter, correct?
Well, first of all, I would think 6 months ahead of time, because they're not, we're gonna do it in FY fiscal 22 in that June for them to start their audit for, in July, they would start the 22. Correct?
You're talking about July of next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we would have to have somebody in place by July 1st.
Right.
So then now you back it up, and we would want to, if we want to change, then we should start in January looking for other companies. That's what I would think.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I was saying the same thing, Lennox. Just that I was probably thinking about 3 to 4 months ahead of time instead of 6, but it's this time next year that we should be in the middle of either selecting or executing an engagement letter for the following, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, whatever.
Okay, so.
Right. But I was just thinking, that they are, I mean, we have the budget then. And if we were going to change, we would want to start in January looking at companies so that by this time frame, we can offer them something.
Well, Lynn, you're on the finance committee, right?
Correct.
Okay, are you guys involved in the audit at all, or is that more of the town accountant?
It would be the town accountant, not us.
Okay. I guess the question I have for you, even if we sign a new engagement letter this time next year for XYZ accounting, whatever the successor is, whether it's the Melanson or someone else new, even if we sign and execute an engagement letter, their task does not start until July 1st of 2022, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if I mean, I guess the earlier portion, the earlier the better, in order to properly fund it through the town's budget. You know, if Melanson was, I think it was 85,000 or something like that, and let's say the new people come in at 95, we want to be able to put that in the town budget so we don't have to do a free cash transfer or something down the line. But other than that, I don't see that they're going to be jumping into the books until after the
Right.
fiscal year
No,
begins.
they would not start, but we would want them in place, number one, for the budget. We need to put it in the budget.
Yep.
And number two, to have them secured in order to start in July.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree. No, I think we're talking the same thing.
Yeah.
So I thought we could start in March or April with an execution sometime this time next year. You're just saying it start in January instead. It's the same. We're talking about the same thing.
Only because in March and April is real heavy into the budget.
Okay. Yeah, that's your world. I always kind of put a little circle around the finance and said, "Let me know when you're done." when I was in Veronica's place.
So maybe that's why the appointment was for December. So December, we would start looking at, November, December timeframe, start looking at, audit companies or whatever, and to have them engaged in January timeframe.
Okay.
For budget purposes. So.
Okay. I want to ask a general question of both of you, and I don't know if you know the answer to this. I was looking at the policy that we had, or that we're marching to. Yes, Wayne is the only one that's still on the board or is he gone now?
He's
Wayne's
gone.
gone now.
Wayne's
Yeah.
gone. I was wondering what the nexus was. What was the purpose of this policy? What was behind it? What was the genesis of it? I don't understand. Because the system was working. I don't know why we needed to even create this audit committee.
I have no idea. All I know is that in reading all the policies, I found this, last.
Yeah. Oh, it's legitimate. Right. No, it's legitimate.
And said, well, we have to appoint an audit committee.
Yeah. No.
It had never, the policy was put in place in September of 2019, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
And then Sue Licio quit, and it was just Dawn and Wayne. And it wound up being, they'd never appointed. So we are the first appointed committee.
Right.
And I don't know the background on this, but it seems like it's a way to have the finance committee and the Board of Selectmen be more aware of the finances of the town. Just another set of eyes on what's going on. That's all.
Yeah. Well,
where we
Veronica, have you been presented with any audits since you've been on the board?
No.
Yeah.
No, nobody has presented anything to the board. I mean, I've only been on for 9 or 10 months now.
Right. So you haven't done it yet. So when I was on, and Andrea's on this meeting as well, she could probably test. When the audit's done, I mean, it gets formalized. They do all their things with the town accountant. And then we get the results, the board gets the results to review. So it's in one of your packages for an upcoming meeting. You read it and you say, okay, thank you very much. But it's really a finance, town accountant kind of a process.
Well, the good news here is we have a brand new treasurer. We have no accountant.
Did you find someone?
Yeah, Jared was hired in January, February timeframe. I think.
I
he
didn't
came
know that.
in
Okay.
February. So we do have a treasurer. We don't have an accountant. We're getting ready to, um, get temporary accounting services in, hopefully sooner rather than later. But we don't have that. Nobody presented. Had we not had this committee, and I requested the financial statement, it was nothing that was brought forward to us. It was
Oh,
only,
well,
I
that-
didn't know that the audit had been completed because it was never brought forward to us.
Yeah, it should have been
So-
presented to the board because ultimately, you're the executive branch and you guys should have been presented with the review.
Then I think what I'm going to ask is for a joint meeting, probably not until sometime in June, to have Melanson Heath present this to the board in a joint
Yep.
meeting with us, if we so want, and the Board of Selectmen, just to present it.
You're the chairman of the board now?
I am the
Con-
most senior selectman.
Congratulations.
And, well, thank you, David.
I meant that cheek and gum. I was like,
I am now the most senior selectman, which is not entirely what I envisioned last spring. But anyway, I am. So there you are. So I will request Melanson Heath to present the audit to a joint meeting of the BOS and the Audit Committee in June,
yeah,
if that's okay with you guys, because I think that's a good idea. It says here, the Audit Committee shall recommend the audit firm. The Audit Committee will review the audit plan with the independent auditors upon completion of the audit, meet with the independent auditors to discuss the results of the audit, the management letter, and the annual financial reports. It's almost like we're an intermediary between the auditors and the selectmen. Then we
Yeah.
transmit a copy to the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee, and with the assistance from the auditing firm, if so desired, present the results to the annual audited financials to a jointly held public meeting of the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee. So three, the Audit
Yeah.
Committee, the Board of Selectmen, and the Finance Committee. But I think what we should do is ask Melanson Heath to present.
yeah. I mean, we're not. Yeah, Veronica. One thing. It looks like Lynn is calling in. Lynn, are you still there?
I'm putting up my other system so that I don't lose anything.
Okay, because there's two Lynn's here. I got them talking out of both sides of your mouth here or something. I don't know what's going on.
I'm not.
'Cause I see your name twice. I thought we lost you. That's all. All right, no, I agree with that. We're not in the profession or with the experience or background or education, however you want to put it, to present the audit. That's not something that any of us are qualified to do. So
agree.
Melison's that's a perfect thing. Okay.
All right, so how about if I do that? That kind of covers number 3 in a sense, review the fiscal year 20 management letter and financial statement. So I will request a joint meeting of the 3 committees sometime in June, perhaps,
Yep.
at a Board of Selectmen meeting, and I'll check with Melanson Heath and see what their availability is for
Yeah.
doing that.
That's a good idea.
Okay, and this is for the FY20. And then we're keeping Melanson Heath, obviously, we have an engagement letter with them. And we can do what's number 4 in this policy with them next March timeframe. When they complete the audit, we will review. I'll talk to Melanson Heath and see what they suggest as far as timeline goes for the FY21 meeting in conjunction with this policy. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yep.
Yep.
And then, so I'm writing this down. I will check with Melanson Heath for availability and also timeline for the FY21 audit and meeting with us. All right. I guess that takes care of 3 and 4 in a sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So our next step, I mean, can I just, I don't want to break open meeting law, but can I just send an email out saying, hey, Melanson Heath is available on these days. This is when the Board of Selectmen is meeting in June and maybe even July if we have to. I prefer June though, just to get it done before the beginning of the next fiscal year. And here's their timeline for the audits. And then we set up a meeting for probably the fall. To meet
You can send out
again.
an email. It's not a substantive email. It's more of an administrative function. So that's fine. That's not a violation.
All right. So I will, all right. So we're looking at Melanson Heath meeting in June with the 3 boards. Meeting in the fall for us to see when we meet with Melanson Heath for the fiscal year 21 audit. And then later in the fall for engagement letter for FY22 and however many years we want to go forward with that.
Okay.
All right.
It's kind of ironic. I'm looking at the year ending 2020, and the date of their cover letter is March 11th of this year.
Right.
So it took them 10 months, 8 months to get it going.
From that's their completed audit, correct?
Right.
All right. So from July 1st to March, I guess.
March 11th was this cover letter to the of the audit. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, 9 months, 9 months.
So we're probably looking, I'll check with them. We're probably looking at meeting with them during the fall for the FY21 audit. To go review the audit plan. It says with the independent, upon completion of the audit, meet with the independent auditors to discuss the results of the audit and the management letter and the annual financial reports. So that is probably in the March timeframe for the FY21, but we should meet with them before that to see what their timeline is.
Right.
And then at the same kind of time, we're going to be looking at the auditors for the next pass.
Yeah, the only thing, Veronica, what we're talking about is having them present, audibly, verbally, in a Zoom meeting, in person, whatever. Their engagement letter only requires a written report, so that may be that you got to check on that too, as far as they may ask for additional funds because it's outside of the scope of their engagement letter if they're presenting itself.
Okay, I'll so noted. All right, so it's not.
I was just looking at the contract. No, so going back onto the meeting laws, you're more within the grounds of sending an administrative email, copying everybody as to when you can meet. That's not a violation. As long as you present that says we're going to be talking about this, and that. Again, it's administrative because we've already talked about it in our meeting. You just can't give opinions or results of that. That's the only thing.
It also says administrative support staff to the audit committee shall be provided by the town administrator and the town accountant. I could ask Jim, I suppose, to contact Melanson Heath.
Yeah, I mean no, yeah. I mean, you're the chair of the board, and the exec that corner office is supporting of the audit committee as well.
Okay. All right. So I could ask Jim. All right. It's not in the contract to present.
Not that I can see. I just reviewed it real quickly just now. I didn't remember reading it. There's the report. There's one section on page 4. It says reporting. It says that we will issue a written report upon completion of the audit. So it doesn't. I don't see anything where it's in live in-person type thing, but they may not ask for it. It's especially with the world of Zoom now, they just can sit at their kitchen table and do it.
Right. I mean, it is kind of nice to not have to
Yeah.
do the commute. Okay, other services. We will assist in the compilation of the following information.
Okay. We did receive a comment from Cindy. Says the books don't get closed until the free cash is certified, which I forgot about that. That's true. And depending on how long it takes to certify the free cash, that keeps the audit open.
Right. During the course of the audit, we will bring, oh, that's if they observe opportunities. I'm looking for,
Are you looking at it too?
yeah, I'm looking at the conclusion of our audit engagement. So this is page 6. This is more what they include in their letter. Okay. Well, if nothing else, we will have a meeting to go over the results.
Right.
And so it could be that Melanson Heath isn't present at the meeting, but we should review the results in an open meeting.
Yeah.
So,
I don't really think they would have an issue with it. I can't say because I haven't dealt with them directly, but it doesn't make sense that they would have an objection to just jumping on a Zoom and saying, "Hey, this is what we found and this is a summary."
okay. All right. So I'll find out about that. So contact Melanson Heath. I'll ask Jim to do that and see what we can do based on the contract and whether they're willing to attend a meeting. So, and I'll, if they aren't, I'll just generate questions and we could all generate questions to
Yeah.
ask them in our reviews. Everybody could. So, all right.
Yeah, I can't. I was just doing a global search of the agreement. I can't see anything that says that they would do it in person. But again, it may not matter.
Yeah, I don't see any. I agree with you. On a quick look through here, yeah, there's nothing that says they will present. It says that they will give the information, the report to the Board of Selectmen. And when we met in April and I asked Jim for the documents, that's when the Board of Selectmen will provide it with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, when they certified it back in March of this year, I mean, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but the board should have been given a copy in the next package of the selectmen's meeting. That's my recollection. Again, Andrea could speak on that as well, but that should have happened.
Well, so next year it will happen.
I'm sure it will. Yeah,
We
I'm
have
sure
it
it will.
now.
Yeah.
And we'll go forward from there then.
Okay. So you want to, the next meeting is going to be whatever the response is to your general inquiry on the email, right?
Yeah, it'll be sometime in June. Right now, somewhere in this pile of papers, our June tentative dates for meeting are June 1st and the 15th, and maybe the 29th. If we decide to do, there's 3 Tuesdays in June, and we could do that instead of 4th of July week. So I would say it will be either June 15th or June 29th for reviewing.
I won't be available the 15th.
You won't be available the 15th. How about you, Dave? 29th? Are you available?
What time would that be? That's an
It
evening.
would be the selectmen's meeting, so 6 p.m. to,
You guys are
1
at
a.m.
6? Okay. Yeah, that's I would be good on that. That's Flag Day too. We could, no, it's not. I just said Tuesday. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on the 15th.
Lynn's not on the 15th, so I'm wondering.
29th, I'm
29th.
good on the 29th as well.
Okay,
if it's
so
at
maybe
6.
that's the date we should target for review of financials so that Lynn can be there.
Right. It's also the week of the 4th of July holiday, because 4th of July is that weekend, the
It's
following weekend. So
Sunday.
I know, since a lot of people are gonna take that week off, or the week following, just let you know.
Well, that's what I had asked the selectmen. I'm trying to schedule summer meetings and meet everybody's vacation schedules. So the question was, will we meet on June 29th or will we meet on July 6th? So I kind of defaulted to the 29th, thinking that people would take off, thinking that July 5th would be the federal holiday for the
Well, I'm
4th.
taking off from that Thursday, the first for both weeks, so I'm going for a while. But the 29th, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so let's
you-
aim for the 29th then.
Yeah. Are you guys meeting every other week as a select? Or are you meeting every week?
We're doing the 1st and the 3rd, kind of
Okay.
as a religion, and then we do the in-betweens if we need to.
That's good.
So we
Yeah.
met yesterday. We are going to meet next week, but just for a work session. And then
Yeah.
we'll meet on the 18th for a regular meeting. And then
Hey,
it's
excuse me, Veronica, sorry to interrupt, but would you like me to televise that work session?
can I get back to you on that, Hartley?
Yes, please do.
I don't know yet.
Okay, and as far as the regular session, you said that would be on the 18th, Friday, the 18th
Not Friday, Tuesday, the 18th,
of
May.
May. Okay, I'm in June. here.
I'm looking at, I'm saying that our May meetings will be the 11th and the 18th. We met
Okay,
yesterday.
so we're talking the next meeting you will definitely want me to host will be on Tuesday, the 18th.
Well, we definitely would want you to host the 11th.
Okay, the 11th. Okay.
Because
What time on Tuesday, the 11th?
6 p.m.
Okay,
To TCAM.
okay, well, you might want to check first to make sure there's not a selectmen's meeting that night.
Oh, no. These are selectmen's meetings that we're talking about, Hartley.
Oh, selectmen's
me,
meetings. I thought you were
let
talking
me-
about the audit committee.
She's talking about joint committee. A
All
joint
right,
meeting.
okay, well, we're all set. We're all set for Tuesday, the 11th at 6 p.m. though, if it's a joint meeting with the selectmen. Of course, you
No,
are
we're-
a selected person, so, and as far as the audit committee is concerned, what next meeting would you like me to Zoom host?
Probably June 29th, which will be a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen, the Finance Committee, and the Audit Committee.
Okay, so that would be Tuesday, June 29th at 6 p.m. Again, that would be a joint meeting with the selectmen.
That is correct.
Okay,
I will send to TCAM
thank you.
with all of this.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything conflicting, but yeah, go to TCAM first and then they'll get to me. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to miss anything. Thank you very much, Veronica.
You're welcome.
And Veronica, on the 29th, you're talking about Melanson getting in there too, right? Joining in?
If
they
they're
can, if they're available.
Yeah,
Okay.
if they're available, if they are willing, if it's not contractual, it's up to them, whether they come or not, or
Right.
whether we
Right.
think it's important enough to pay for their services for that day. So, for that time, I don't know. So.
Oh, with their contract coming expired, they probably wouldn't be too heavy on the additional fees if they want to get another contract. Just saying.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. So we're looking at our next meeting, which is a joint meeting. We'll do, I'll email you guys about the meeting. But joint meeting, June 29th, to present, to discuss the FY20 audit that
Mhm.
just was completed in March with the Board of Selectmen, the Finance Committee, and the Audit Committee. That would be number one. And then we can talk to Melanson and Heath about their timeline for the FY21 audit to see what our involvement per policy would require there. And then, so I don't see us meeting again until
No.
probably the fall
Yeah.
at the earliest.
Yeah,
To
I would agree.
both meet with Melanson Heath. I mean, maybe our free cash will be certified in October next year, and we'll actually have a special town meeting at some point.
That would be an early Christmas if it was certified in October.
That's what used to happen. But
I-
anyway,
Exactly.
So we'll see where that goes, but the fall would be our next meeting. And
Okay.
we'll figure that out, you know, after we do this review and talk to Melanson Heath about the timeline. So in the fall, we would be meeting about the FY21 audit with Melanson Heath. And then we will also be meeting separately from with Melanson and Heath to discuss auditors for the FY22 audit and going forward for however many fiscal years we're going to be engaging them.
Say that last statement. We would, did you say
We
you'd be
would
talking to
start-
Melanson about additional time? A new
No.
period again?
We'll be
Oh.
meeting with them about the
Okay.
FY21 audit timeline and our
Okay.
involvement with that. And then separately, just us, we'll
Okay,
meet to discuss a new engagement letter with whomever.
whoever. Okay, that's what I was
for
getting at.
FY22 going forward.
It's like I was saying last meeting, the client security board things that I do, it's a state mandate. We change our audits every 3 to 5 years. Not because anybody does anything bad. It's just, it's good. It's a good idea to get a fresh set of eyes on things because everybody looks at it from different perspectives. And then Melanson has been doing this for 9 years, I think, 10 years.
At least, I think it's 2011,
Yeah,
going back that
probably
far,
10.
I think.
Be 10 or 11 years by the time the termination, the end of the contract is up. So, I mean, and not to say I wouldn't agree to engage them again, but it might be to our town's advantage or the benefit to have a new set of eyes looking at things too. Just
I
just to
agree.
throw it out there.
Yep. So we'll look at that in the fall as well. So the
Okay.
meeting with the 3 boards, hopefully June 29th, I should say tentatively June 29th. And then meeting in the fall with Melanson Heath for FY21 audit and that timeline. And then later in the fall, the 3 of us for
Okay,
selecting an auditor
perfect.
for FY22 forward. And I'll put that in the minutes.
And you're you'll confirm, you'll send us an email as to lock in the date. It's gonna be 6 o'clock, what the date is may be up in the air a little bit.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Sounds like a plan.
If we don't meet on June 29th, if for whatever reason we can't, our next meeting for Board of Selectmen is July 20th.
I would be available on the 20th as well.
Lynn, how about you tentatively?
Just
I'm
a
asking a lot for people to be looking out 2 months and knowing what they're going to be doing, but
minute. The 20th is fine.
okay, all right. So that would be the alternative date to the 29th,
Mhm.
most likely. So. All right.
Good.
I think we've pretty well covered everything that we had in the agenda.
We crushed it, Veronica. We crushed it.
Yeah.
So I will write the minutes and I'll send them out, I guess.
You can send them out for review.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you don't have to send them out. I know, like on the zoning board, we get them probably. Everybody gets them in a blind email, but we get them a week or two out, 1 or 2 weeks afterwards for review, and we don't vote on them until our next meeting, but
So
sometimes
we could vote on those minutes at the joint meeting just very quickly, I suppose.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's required in keeping with the clerk's requirements of posting quickly.
Okay. All right.
Good. All right.
Um,
You good?
I am good. How about you, Lynn?
I'm good.
Okay.
Very
Dave?
cool. Oh,
All right.
living the dream. I'll make a motion. We adjourn.
I
There-
second it.
All in favor for adjourning
Aye.
at 11:42?
Lynn
Aye.
Pickerton. Aye.
Veronica Cal, aye. All right. Thank you, everybody. And,
Thanks, guys.
um,
Have a good
see you
holiday
on the
weekend in a couple weeks.
29th. Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.